So good morning. Good to see you. We're actually going to start this practice sitting today for a change. So if you could please come to an easy seat of your choice. Could be sitting on a chair, could be sitting against the wall on a meditation cushion. Taking a few moments to really find your seat. And sometimes it's quite nice in a seat to soften a little around the waist, even to slump a tiny bit. I know that sounds wrong. Sometimes we're pushing ourselves into a rigid, straight spine, and actually it's not introducing softness into the rest of the body. So take your time to soften in the waist, to soften down through the hips. Maybe to close your eyes if that's right for you. You might like to bring the tips of your thumbs and forefingers lightly together, palms either up or down. You find what feels good for you. And taking a moment to notice as you come into this seat, if there are any parts of the body that feel tight or that you're holding on to something. Sometimes coming to sit straight first thing in the morning is not so straightforward. Really taking time to notice the base of your body in contact with the surface beneath you. Almost as if you're merging with that base, almost as you become part of the earth through the base of your body. Allowing your shoulders to soften away from the ears. And inviting a softness into the whole of your face and contents of your skull. Allowing your attention now to drop into the breath. For now, not trying to change anything, simply noticing the stream of a natural breath and how you experience this in your body. Are you more aware of sensations in your nostrils or in your throat? Or are you more aware of a sense of expansion and retreat in your belly or in your chest? If you know what Ujjayi Breath is, please, if you'd like to, bring that in now. Just a little contraction in the back of your throat and the sound of the ocean washing through your mouth and throat. and the rest of your body with the breath. Taking a moment or two with this ocean breath or with a natural breath to notice when you feel the base of your body with the breath and when you might feel a brightening up through the upper body with the breath. All the while softening and yielding the body as you breathe with the morning. And it may be that this is enough for you and you continue observing this natural or Ujjayi breath in the body. Or you might like to join me and add a count to the breath. So don't add a count in such a way that you strain. So maybe start with 3 in. Notice a brief pause at the top of the breath in, and then breathe 3 out. And notice a pause at the bottom of the exhalation. And so on. And I'll leave you for 2 or 3 minutes with you choosing your own count, but making sure that the in-breath and the out-breath are equal, and that you have a brief pause at the top and at the bottom of the breath. It might be natural to increase the count, but without strain. As you continue for just a couple more minutes with this breathing practice, maybe coming to a sense that there's no effort in this breath, that it's not you breathing as such, but that the breath is breathing you. And it's inevitable that thoughts or sounds will come in and nudge you. And that's fine. But see if you can keep inviting your attention to stay with the breath. And just for the final minute, if you would like to begin to extend your exhalations a little so that they become longer than your inhalations. Really observing how with the exhalation you let go a little, you dissolve a little. Maybe you find a quietness there. And then when you're ready, allowing the count to drop away. Allowing the Ujjayi to drop away. As you take a couple of moments to notice how you feel in a natural breath now. Then bringing yourselves to lying down, flat on your backs. Maybe inviting any stillness, any ease you found in the breathing practice now into the physical practice. And it can be so delicious after sitting or after standing to allow the floor to take the whole of your weight through the back of the body. So allow yourself time to really melt through the back of the body into the floor. And you can notice the points of contact with the floor, but you can simultaneously notice where there are places like behind the knees or behind the waist where your body actually isn't in contact with the floor. There are little breathing spaces. You can notice the breath now after that practice. Notice it moving your abdomen or moving your chest. And then please stand the right foot on the floor, leaving the left leg extended and just very heavy and released, just flopping out to the left. And your arms can be wherever you feel comfortable. And when you're ready, beginning to press your right foot into the floor, just a little, and you'll notice how the muscles of your legs begin to work. And you might begin to notice almost imperceptibly how your right hip and buttock peel away from the floor. And then softly let go. Release the leg, the foot, so that the hip and buttock sink back into the floor. And if you'd like to continue, each time you press your foot down, almost as if you're trying to push it through the floorboards, you might notice that the right side peels a little bit more off the floor, and then you let it go. Very slow, very smooth, very subtle movements. as your pelvis gently tilts towards the left and then comes back again. And the aim isn't to tilt right over. The aim isn't to try and get anywhere, in fact. The aim is to really feel through the foot, to feel what happens to the right hip and buttock and the rest of the body. And my experience of doing this, whether it's in the morning or later in the day, is that not only does the attention really come into the pelvis, but it's possible to begin releasing accumulated tensions through the lower back, through the hips, even in the belly. And it's important that the whole of the rest of the body, other than the right leg and foot, are completely like jelly. There's nothing going on. And then please change sides when you're ready. Noticing how a very subtle ripple of movement might travel through the body. Like one of the hardest things with this approach to yoga, what we're doing now, is the sense that there's somewhere to arrive. A sense that we're striving for something when really we're not. And that can be one of the hardest things to let go of. There is no goal other than to be completely present, completely alert to the minutest of changes in the body. Beautiful. And observing if it feels different on this side compared to the first side. And then letting that go, sliding the left leg long, feeling the whole body. Noticing the breath. And then bringing both feet to stand, arranging them, organizing yourself in such a way that you can release down into the back of the pelvis. And now we're going to stand both feet firmly into the floor so that you might feel the pelvis tilting back and the whole of your back flattening, with a desire to lift, but you don't lift. Pause here and then let go of the feet and notice how the pelvis naturally begins to roll forwards. And you can slide your hand under your lower back to find that little tunnel as your lower spine peels away from the floor. And then as you press into your feet again, obviously slide the hand away and you flatten. Then you let go of the feet and the pelvis pours forwards. So I know we do this almost every class, especially with the gentle classes. And I make no apology for that because I just think well, I hope you agree, it's just so good to repeat this delicacy. And you might notice that there's a movement all the way up the body as your head is also rocking. Your spine and your ribs become looser and freer. Your lower jaw releases a little away from the upper jaw. And then one of these times when you press into your feet and you feel your lower back flatten, continue pressing so that your tailbone peels off the floor and almost imperceptibly your sacrum lifts maybe a millimetre or two, but not in such a way that I could see it. But what you should be feeling is a release in all the little muscles at the front of the hips. As your pelvis hangs a little, it dangles. And you soften the belly and you breathe here. And then let that go. Allow your sacrum to melt into the floor. Feels so good. I don't know if you can hear my tummy rumbling, but it is rumbling. And then please bring your arms down by your sides with the palms facing down. And we'll do something slightly different. We'll bring a breath into this, and I don't want you to worry about the tilt of your pelvis, just allow it to happen naturally. As you breathe in, begin to lift your arms slowly, press into your feet to peel the sacrum, but then slowly peel as many vertebrae as you like off the floor. And eventually the back of your hands will find the floor behind you. And you can pause, just like we did with the breathing practice. And then as you exhale, slowly, slowly release the arms and the spine all the way back down. And I'll leave you with this moving bridge practice for a few rounds to really relish the lift of one vertebrae at a time. And it's a fuller breath as you come up, coming right up into your armpits, right up to your collarbones. Really enjoy feeling the whole rib cage expand. And then let it go on the exhale. Really synchronizing the movement of the arms with the lift of the hips and the spine with the breath. Make it one whole movement with the breath. As if it's your breath moving you. Including the pauses as part of what you're doing. Fabulous. Next time you come down, staying down. And then lifting one knee and then the other knee in towards you. And having a gentle rock from side to side. You might find that your ankles cross or not. It entirely depends on your anatomy. Until you're able to roll all the way over into a child's pose, please. Very simple practice this morning. I hope you're keeping the whatever quality you found in the breathing practice for the first 10 minutes. I hope that infiltrates the physical practice. And whether your head meets the floor or not, it doesn't matter. But if it doesn't, please bring your hands under your head. And take your knees as far apart as they need to be in order that your belly and your chest can completely release towards the floor, and your shoulders and the back of your ribs can soften. Can you feel your whole body soft, but also alive with the breath? And then please meeting me on all fours, curling your toes under. And we'll also come to some repetition with downward dog, just because we're all working on this and it's so good for the nervous system to repeat things. So gradually sit back. Actually, why don't we all sit upright so we really feel the weight down on the heels, so we get a nice little toe stretch here. Taking a moment to really feel the feet, because the feet are so important in this way into downward dog. You might even want to spread your toes a little. And then you can slide your hands down your thighs along the floor, releasing your head and your neck. When you're ready, simply lifting your knees off the floor about 5 centimeters and hovering, just to feel the busyness, just to feel the effort here. And then release them down. Notice how the ribs, the shoulders, the arms, the wrists become quiet. And then lift again and hover. But try not to stop breathing. And then release your knees down. And this time you lift your knees and try to take your bottom further back as you slowly unfold. If this isn't possible, you allow your shoulders to come a little bit forwards over your wrists. You just notice when the going gets hard and you make it easier for yourself. And then you slowly come back down again. So I'll just demonstrate again what I mean by doing it one way and then another. If you can, you keep this slant in your spine and your arms as you slowly unfold. And not everybody can do that, at least not initially. So you start trying to do that. And if it gets a little bit harder, you roll your shoulders forwards. And from there, you might find it easier to push up and then back. Keep going. This is slightly more effort, bringing more energy into the body. If you're looking for a really quiet practice, you come down and you rest in child. But I would love it if you could invite the sense of never actually having done this before into your practice, so that you're completely alert and curious to what's going on in your body, your breath. And if you're someone who doesn't find it easy to slowly unfold, and that's absolutely fine, all I would ask you to do is notice when you do this, whether it's every day or twice a week or once a week, if anything begins to change, if increasingly you might be able to keep the weight back for a little bit longer, really notice the point at which you have to bring your shoulders forwards to support you. Lovely, that's looking fantastic. The next time you come down, having a brief rest in child. It's very enlivening, I find, coming into downward dog like that. It's a great way to start the day. It is an inversion. We have a sense of the blood, the lymph, everything rushing into the chest and the head. Really helping the circulatory system. Okay, we'll do another version. This time, so none of this, there's no big surprises today. You're going to come onto your forearms, just allowing your hands to be free. They can just come down wherever you like. They don't need to be parallel. They don't need to be clasped. But I would recommend that your elbows are underneath your armpits and not out to the side. So you have a nice axis of strength, and keep your neck completely relaxed. And then slowly do exactly what you did before. Lift your knees and slowly unfold. And we are looking to bring our heels eventually to the floor, but it won't be immediate. And then fold yourself in and down. So we have a sense of unfolding and refolding, but now with more strength, more effort in the upper body. And you might find you want to experiment with walking your knees closer in towards your elbows. So the V that you're making becomes tighter. We're really brightening the upper body and opening slowly the backs of the legs, the whole of the back of the body. Breathe. And then come to rest. When you sit back up again, can you take your right foot forwards, lining it up, just showing you here, because some people vary, but lining up pretty much so that the right heel is either in line with the left knee or just a little bit in front. And then we curl under the back toes again. And it may be your hands reach the floor, or maybe you need blocks here. And you're allowing the weight to come back to the back heel at the same time as resting the ribs on the front thigh, releasing the shoulders. When you're ready, begin to lift the back knee and slowly unfold the leg. Keeping the torso and the neck and the head completely soft over the front knee. And the front knee is still a little bent. We're not straightening it. And then slowly come back down again. That's all I'd like you to do to begin with.
And it doesn't matter if your back heel reaches the floor or not, but we are seeking to straighten the leg. And we're looking for as much quietness and ease in the movement. And so that means being alert to when things get glitchy. And slowing it down at those moments so that your nervous system, together with your body, learn to organize themselves. And the feet are quiet. That's really good. What I'm going to do is add options for you to make this more complicated, or you can stay with what we're doing. You might, as you come up, want to bring your right hand inside the foot and just very gently unpeel. But we're not looking for the strongest pose. We're just looking to move the body, and then you gently come back down again. Both hands around the foot, the knee comes down. Breathing freely, whichever option you're going for. And I taught something like this in the community centre here in Pendine the other day, and a young woman who is really very fit could not believe how much her legs were like jelly and wobbling after what we're doing. So it's quite deceptive. It seems simple, but actually it's requiring quite a lot of control and strength in the legs. You could continue doing the first thing, just simply coming up and down. You could add that twist, or maybe you'd like to next time just float your hands a little bit further forwards, so that as you come up, you can then float the back leg off the floor. And look at the standing foot, almost lift the toes of the standing foot, so the foot is really quiet. And then you slowly come back down. Only if you want to, you could take your fingers, your hands off the floor for a moment, just to feel the whole body balancing on the standing leg. Keep going a few more rounds. This is so good for coordination and balance. That's really great. And then change sides, please, when you're ready. Don't be in a hurry to come to what you know is the end of this practice, just starting with that slow unfolding from a place of stillness, from a place of attention. Breathe. When you want to, you might place the left hand inside the foot and peel open to the right. never in a hurry. You look easier on that side, Monica. What I would say is that you might want to bring your the front heel a bit closer back to the knee, Monica, rather than have it there. See what that feels like. And then if you're continuing into the next stage, you might float your fingers forwards, float up the back leg. You might not take the hands away. So good to wake up the body in the morning, to be conscious of what's going on. And then one of these times, as when you're up, I'm just going to float the back foot forwards, so we end up in a standing forward fold. You come any way that works for you. Can you feel your spine dropping, your shoulders dropping, a real sense of flop, letting everything go. Beautiful. And then pressing into your feet, a little bend in the knees. Begin to take your arms out to the side of you as you lift and you breathe the biggest breath possible into the whole body. Exhale, hands to your heart. And on the next breath in, the fullest breath. And exhale, swan dive down. Really lead with your heart. Long spine, folding in on yourself at the end. And inhale, bring your chest forward, straight legs. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale. And do 2 more in your own time. We meet. Please interlace your hands over your chest. And your feet could be together or they could be a little apart. Take a breath into your heart, and as you exhale, push your palms forwards out in front of you. And then inhale, lift your arms up. And as you exhale, really feel your feet pushing down as you simultaneously reach your hands up towards the ceiling.
And we'll try not to stick our bottoms out, so tucking the tailbone under, tucking the front ribs in, as we look for as much length as possible. And you can sway a little from side to side. Breathing fully. And then take a breath in, really looking for length, hands to the ceiling, feet to the floor. And exhale, release your arms down. You might like to shake out the wrists a little. And then I'd like you to interlace your hands, but the way that doesn't feel natural. So the other thumb will be over the top. And bring your hands to your heart. Take a breath in. Breathe out, push your hands out in front of you. And this time, let's just come up first. Inhale. Exhale here. And then if you would like to, next time you inhale, peel the heels off the floor, come right up onto your toes. And from there, find more length. And exhale, heels come down. And do a few like this with complete control and focus. One of these times, if you want to, you can come up and stay for, say, 3 or 5 breaths. Focus as much on the length of the body as on the balance. Keep breathing. Take a full breath in, and this time as you come down, release your arms down by your sides. Just feel the body here. And I'd like you to bring your arms out in front of you as if you're holding a big beach ball. And the size of the beach ball isn't going to change. And I want you to bring your attention to your shoulder blades, so this space on the back of your ribs, kind of where your bra strap, if you wear a bra, might pass. You're going to take a breath in just with a straight spine, but then as you breathe out, you're going to push the shoulder blades out behind you. Have a little bend in the knees. You might need to look at me because we haven't done this before, I don't think. And as you breathe in, you straighten. And as you breathe out, you push the back of the ribs back, and your sternum, the front of your chest, should cave in a little bit and your chin comes in. So we're really trying to access this part of the body that can get a little bit sticky, especially if we're sitting at a computer a lot of the day or driving, playing musical instruments. Really push it out so you become quite hunched in the back and your chin drops in, as if there's someone pulling you from the back of your ribs behind you. And actually, I don't mind if you do a different breathing rhythm to what I suggested. I just want you to come into really feeling the back of the ribs being pulled back and then straighten. Let's just do a couple more. Fabulous. Okay, and then straightening, releasing your arms, maybe have a little shake. And then if you're able to, please interlace your hands behind your back. If that's just not going to happen, you can take your hands to your lower back, you could hold your elbows. And it may be that the heels of your hands come together or your palms are open, it doesn't matter. And have a soft bend in the knees and roll your shoulders up to your ears and back. And then draw your hands down past the tailbone if they're clasped. So you feel a little dragging down of the shoulders, of the shoulder blades, down the spine. And then see if you can ease your arms away from the body, but without strain. This will lift the sternum, lift the chest. You might feel a little squeeze of the shoulder blades and opening across the front of the shoulders. If you're holding your elbows, that's also fine. It has the same effect. And then release, have a little shake. Then we'll do it again. You could change the cross of your hands if you want, or just do the same. So draw the hands down past the tailbone and then away from the body. A real sense of opening without strain. And then take a full breath in, really feel the heart space here. And on the breath out, you fold in and down, and maybe your arms come over the top. It doesn't matter if they don't. Pause here. And then on the inhale, push into your feet and imagine someone's pulling you on your hands to bring you back. Exhale here. Take another breath in and then move on the exhale. Inhale when you're down. Exhale to come up this time. And just do two more or so. Inhaling when you're still, exhaling to move. Doing your final one. This time when you come up, releasing, having a nice shake. Yeah. And we'll just do a little final standing practice. You face the long end of your mat with your feet about a stride or a meter apart. Really feel both feet, feel the muscles of the legs hugging into the bones. And inhale. Lift up your left arm and exhale, slide over to the right. Side bending. Inhale to the top and exhale. So almost begin the breath before you move so that the movement follows the breath. And do one more to each side. Lovely. And then when you're ready, take your right foot out. If you found what we've just done quite challenging with the feet parallel, doing the side bending, continue doing that, but go a little bit less into the side bend. If you want to go deeper, take your right foot out. Hug the muscles to the bone, leg bones. Left hand to your hip as you reach out to the right. So we're using the arm to find length in the side body. When you've gone as far as you can, hinge and drop your hand to the leg. And then flop the left shoulder and arm and dangle them down towards the floor. And really commit your feet to the floor. And then when you're ready, inhale to peel open. A little bit like we did before in that runner's sprint pose. And exhale to peel down. So we're rotating into our Utthita Trikonasana. Make sure your front foot is straight. And next time you peel up, maybe you stay up. And again, I'm going to give you choices. You could have your raised arm vertical, or you could slide it over your ear to increase a sense of a side stretch. Some of you might want a slightly stronger practice, so you lift the lower arm and you hold it out here. Legs strong, alive to your fingertips. Take a full breath in. And then as you exhale, bend into that front knee. Bring your left hand to your hip. And we're just going to do something just for fun this morning. Can you take your right hand to the floor just beyond the left foot? And it's fine if it comes to a break. Look at the standing foot and then pull your weight into the standing foot as the back leg floats up. Maybe you peel open the hip, maybe you open the arm. Just for fun this morning, just to feel the opening, the balance, and then come back the way you came. And I just fell out of it very inelegantly. That's all we'll do on that side today. We'll come back to one of my favorite poses, that pose, in another practice with more time. Please take the left foot out. Hug the leg muscles to the bone and begin to reach, find length. And then hinge and allow the right arm and shoulder to flop down. And in your own time, peel it open and close it down. Be aware of your shoulder blades as you do this. Peel it open. Beautiful. And close it down. And then last time, peel it open to stay. So I'm noticing, Gila, for example, you've got a tiny bend in that front knee, and that's good. You don't want to overlock that knee out, but neither do you want to have it super bent. But what you've got is perfect here. As long as you're hugging the muscles to the bones, you're lifting the kneecaps. Maybe your arm stays vertical, maybe slide it over the ear. You have a sense of the right hip pushing out behind you. Maybe you lift the lower arm for the stronger version if you want that. And breathe. Take a full breath in and then look down, bend into that front knee. Maybe take that left hand forwards as you pop the back leg up. Maybe peel open the hip a little and lift the arm. Breathing here. Take a full breath in and then gently pop your way back. And all we're going to do now is walk the hands around the front. Counter pose. Your feet wider, toes in, heels out. Take a few breaths here just to breathe space into the lower back, having a sense of your sitting bones separating. And allow the upper body to just dangle, either straight down or you might be reaching forwards a little. Breathe. This is going to be our final physical pose because this is an hour's class rather than 90 minutes, and I always wish I had longer. So use this pose to roll the shoulders, maybe to move the head and the neck, maybe to bounce a little just to let go of any residual tension. Before you're ready to transition, I transition into a downward dog to come down to lying, but you can come any way you like as you eventually come to either find a meditation seat or lying down flat. And it is 8:30, but I'll stay just for a few minutes to settle you. And of course, you can stay longer if you want. So taking time to come back to the beginning. This is an opportunity to notice if there's been any change for you. sense of the solidity beneath you. Smoothness of your breath now. And if you want to stay longer, stay longer. If you're ready to move on with your day, beginning to breathe a little bit deeper. Introduce gentle movements into the body. As you come to sitting, bringing your hands perhaps to the heart space with your eyes closed, just to observe the end of your practice. And taking a full breath into the heart and breathing out, bowing your head. Pausing before you breathe in, and then allowing the breath in to lift your head and open your eyes into the day. Namaste. Thank you very much for joining me. I need to say something quickly.